and we've set a path towards a more structured and compliant 2027 budget. And we're looking forward to the fruits of that across the county. And
Absolutely.
I think you will also, as the board of Pueblo West, benefit from that.
Appreciate that.
I just want to clarify one thing. This ain't a gotcha moment. We've been trying to have this meeting for months, over 6 months. Okay. And it's supposed to be a discussion. We're supposed to be looking at this and fixing problems. Okay. And like the verbiage you referred to earlier, okay, I would like to say that it's not a gotcha moment. We've been trying to get with the 3 county commissioners on the roads all at one time. Okay. And yeah, there are special circumstances that come up where those meetings got to be canceled or rescheduled. But I just want to say thank you for tonight. Honestly, thank you. Okay. Because our constituents know that we're looking out for their best interest. And your taxpayers, your constituents out in Pueblo West. So it's not a gotcha moment. Let's bring it to a realization moment. In reality, when you see cities abroad within the state and in other states dealing with huge deficits, if we don't fix them now, our future is going to be broke for our children. So it's not a gotcha moment. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brian, you brought up
Sure.
the MS4 permit, and I think that's important that we kind of at least have a brief conversation regarding the
Correct. That
MS4
was my
tonight
next.
while we're all here. So I guess my question would be, what does the Metro District believe to be the condition of your MS4 permit? And how would you like to see those conversations continue? I know the IGA said something would hopefully be hashed out in 2023. That obviously didn't happen. So the Metro Board or the Metro District is the holder of the MS4 permit. How would you guys like to see those conversations play out between, these new boards that have never been involved in that MS4 conversation?
It's a good question, and I'll invite Christian to answer most of that in more detail. I know that the conversation about an MS4 permit and county taking that over, the reason behind that is because drainage is such a big issue in Pueblo West, and there is an opportunity to align the drainage issue with the MS4 permit in some sort of enterprise fund situation. I don't see that you can do that without owning both. But I'll let Christian speak more to that.
So good evening, joint boards and staff. Christian J. Hine, District Manager. So I'll try to be real brief on the quick history. The conversation about transferring the standard MS4 permit came about separately from the IGA. It was about the same time we started talking about the roads. The concept behind it was unique for a metropolitan district to be a standard permit holder, not a non-standard permit holder. The only difference between those two is standard permit holders oversee commercial entities or anybody else outside of their own facilities. Conversation started between the county's public works team, our public works team, and started a conversation, and it happened to coincide with the roads IGA. At the time, we recognized that there were challenges with the definitions and the responsibilities associated with drainage versus stormwater management. We were hopeful that the conversation would continue because recognizing that the largest conveyance system in the district for all drainage or stormwater happens to be the roads and the rights of way. And we saw it as a natural alignment, understanding that there was also additional costs for drainage improvements for it. So we couldn't solve it by the time of the 2023 roads IGA. That's why it's stipulated in there as something we hope to resolve by the end of that year. Conversations did ensue with different joint boards. If it's okay to say, I think the most recent thing I had seen was sometime last year, a draft presentation that was being developed saying, hey, this might be what a stormwater utility would look like. Here's some options or things to consider. That was done with the previous staff administration on the county side. And then we didn't have a conversation after that, and that could have happened for any number of reasons. But I think we're hopeful that understanding that drainage and stormwater are two separate things that do happen to overlap in some areas, having it under one consolidated management system, whether that was county or the district, in this case, it would make sense for the county, has been why we've had that as part of conversations we've wanted to continue.
So just a quick question, would Pueblo West be willing to pay for an audit or jointly pay for an audit, however that looks like, of compliance for the permit, and assuming that's fine, then reopen negotiations, potentially do an agreement at that time. That is my big concern legally.
Gotcha. I think it would be a conversation we'd have to have. I don't think I don't think there would be opposition towards doing it or making sure that there was something formally dictating or auditing what happens before a transition would take place. And this is just an opinion, I think that it would be desired to be as a condition of intent to transition.
I think that's fair. I think my big hesitation, speaking as one commissioner, if in contemplating the county taking on that MS4 permit, is we don't know I'll say the condition of it. We don't know if the metro is in compliance with the MS4 permit. I think that's kind of a mystery. And so to head down the road of the county taking it on, we can't really go there until we know that it's in good standing with the state and we're not, backing ourselves into a
Yeah, totally fair.
$50 million hole.
Totally fair. And I know we have tests.
We do our state reporting and submit it. As far as a third-party audit, I know we rely on a third-party contractor. I don't think we've been audited necessarily. They facilitate our permit compliance requirements. But as far as doing a third-party audit, we can have that conversation.
Okay. And we could supply our reports for the last couple of years that are available. Should be public knowledge.
Can you guys look into that then, that third party audit?
Of course.
Okay.
Thank you. No, we're almost out of time. I have a question for you, for your commissioners, something that we've kind of tossed around just for future conversations. Would you be willing to form some sort of joint road commission to address current and future questions, concerns, something that doesn't require all of us?
What, just like one?
So
of
that we
us?
don't have it, yeah, so one of you, one of us, maybe two of us, just so we don't have a quorum and then have to have a public meeting and
Are those activities that can take place at the regular sales tax meeting?
that's a good question. It might dive into, it might be questions that would dive into issues outside of the 1% sales tax,
That's fine.
but maybe perhaps after.
I don't think there's any objection or concern with coinciding them. The oversight committee would still be its independent role. But I think President Axworthy is kind of articulating is that it's to solve challenges between the expectations of joint boards, not necessarily the oversight committee's responsibility, which is ensuring that the 1% sales tax is spent at Pueblo West. So they might be two separate intents.
It'd be somewhat like having the same conversation we had today, only maybe more frequent, so that we cover issues or be able to bring back issues back to our prospective bodies and for further discussion and answers.
I'm not opposed to it. I think that we can do something like we're doing right now on a more frequent basis. I think you guys are gonna have a lot to digest in the information that Greg has provided. So I would suggest reading through that, getting through that, and then if we want to schedule another meeting as this is, I think we could easily do that.
Okay.
And, just, so if you guys can look into the stormwater in that audit, I think that would get us off on a right foot, that then we can start having some intelligent conversations, because then we know the facts of it. Stormwater is obviously a big issue out there, and it's a big reason of why the roads the way that they are. When roads don't have curbs and gutters, they tend to fall off.
Those are two, and I've had to learn this myself, those are two separate entities, so to speak. So stormwater has nothing to do with drainage. Stormwater is the quality of the water and drainage is the flow of water.
Okay. So I think that, yeah, we need to get those numbers or get that audit done. And again, I think that this board has always been under the impression of public being fair. Again, I live in Pueblo West on a dirt road too, but being fair to Pueblo West residents, that the only thing that is taking care of their roads is not that 1%. And we've never adhered to that. We've tried to be as equitable as possible from your general road and bridge dollar, allocating a percentage to that. And I keep alluding to the new software that was implemented this year, but that's a big deal because it was very difficult to extract numbers previous to that. So that's where I think a lot of that reporting, and to Paula's point, even being able to determine more resources going out to Pueblo West that aren't on the books. And I mean, I've even had conversations, many of them actually, on another historic problem with Pueblo West is there was development and then there was no development agreements or anything else like that. So we're working now with our planning department, our building department to try and institute now a development agreement, because you don't want to, if somebody wants to go build something out there right now, they're not responsible for the last 30 years, but they are responsible for their percentage of what they are going to impact. So we can start implementing that too, because you guys know as well as I do, historically, it was just build. And then there was nothing contributed by those developers to the infrastructure that they certainly impacted. So
Yeah.
Greg and I have had meetings on that, and
Mistakes of the past. I know. We know all full well.
yeah.
So, yeah. So our position has been to, we can't see the data, but show us. Looks like that's kind of an issue from 2023 till this current year, but it sounds like you might have that resolved. Thank you very much for that. And then 2027, it sounds like we'll be in a better place for line item description. Preferably a specialized fund balance or fund for Pueblo West roads, reserve fund, so that we can further track revenue. So it's not in one large pot, and hopefully we'll be able to move special revenue fund. Thank you.
Sorry, the special fund idea is not a bad one, and I'm going to put that on my to-do list.
Appreciate
for
that.
myself to take a look at that.
Okay. So
And then-
thank you for working with us moving forward. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, with the new recording abilities that we have, I know that we've talked in the past about better publicizing the work that we have done and are going to continue to do, because, sometimes if you don't tell people what's going on and what you've done, it's not appreciated. I mean, you live in your little area and you go back to work and forth in that area, but you may not notice that Boyera was completely repaved. Like, I mean, we've done a lot out there. There's still obviously a ton of work to do. We certainly recognize that potholes are an issue. We hear about it probably just as much, if not more, than you guys. And so Greg and his team are consistently working towards being creative and looking at every possible option to make those roads as good as they can be.
We look forward to the data. Absolutely.
Who gets the reading material?
Yeah.
You're
man
not
over
gonna
there.
sleep for a while? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Take it.
We'll convene a special meeting or something to go over it once they have a chance to review it.
Yeah, I would say just that. I mean, go over that data. And then if we need to get another meeting, which we probably should anyway,
Yep.
maybe before the end of the year, just something like this. And then you guys can bring up any questions. You guys obviously know how to get a hold of us. In the meantime, you can ask us any questions too, and we can publicly do something like this again.
Are you guys expecting to have a proposed budget in October, November?
October 15th
2027.
is when we'll
October
have our preliminary budget. Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
If it's okay to say one thing.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I do appreciate the presentation, Robert. It was a great presentation. I liked a lot of the information and a lot of it aligned with what I think historically was there. So I appreciate you all taking the time. I did just want to highlight that the alternative path to this, the 2023 agreement, the 1% sales tax, would have been Pueblo West sending that notice to terminate. And it would have been a 5-year or 60-month timeline. And the alternative would have been Pueblo County taking the roads this November, no sales tax after the fires, in the midst of the financial concerns. So understanding that there are headaches, this has been probably a much preferred path comparatively. So appreciate the opportunity to work together to figure out how to move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, our next meeting will be determined. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned.